Sheffield Wednesday's absolute destruction from the top down with Stefan Chansiri reminds me very, very much of darker times at Ellen Road with Massimo Cellino. Discontent, a disconnect with the fan base. Ken Bates, another one, an owner of which he ruled with an iron fist. Stefan Chansiri has been at Sheffield Wednesday since 2015 and it's not getting any better. Shay Charles going back last night after the owner stepped out of a fan forum at midnight, received a call from Southampton and came back to tell everyone on the fan forum that Shay Charles was going back. Absolutely nuts. Sheffield United looking and seemingly interested in every single player in the Championship. No, but in all seriousness, Sheffield United, Hamza Chowdhury, Ben Brereton Diaz, Tom Cannon, Shay Charles. There's so many really decent links with Sheffield United. It's not to say these players are bad at all, but it's interesting when it comes to the news beat and where Leeds are in comparison. Sunderland really looking for players. Tom Cannon, another striker they're desperate for. A left attacking midfielder as well, with obviously Mundell been out the side for another month. They could be looking to reinforcing. Burnley joining the race for Tom Cannon. 10 million quid they're talking about. 13 million. Sheffield United and Sunderland are talking about if they get to the Premier League. 13 million for Tom Cannon, a relatively unproven player. I mean, we spoke about him potentially being a Sheffield United player, if we're being honest, on the channel when we were doing the Stoke watch-alongs. He looks very, very much of the blueprint of a Chris Wilder player. However, where does this cycle back to the mighty Whites? And I'm not talking about this. But I'm talking about Leeds United and the calmness within the choppy waters. A unusual feeling with Leeds United. A club that doesn't normally go out and do transfer after transfer in the January window, but a club who naturally sets panic into the supporters if the squad isn't potentially good enough. Now we're looking at this 2025 window, and is the squad good enough? Of course it is. Do we have depth? Of course it is. How many players do we have in this squad? 24. Joe Gelhardt going out. Charlie Crew going out. Good luck to the lads. But I'm very much in a position now, as you can probably tell by my demeanour, where I'm just relaxed. I'm not upset. I'm not in panic mode, and I'm seeing so many players of interest with so many clubs. You know, Ben Brereton Diaz, Sunderland and Sheffield United battling that one out. Blackburn in the mix as well. Tom Cannon, Hull, Burnley, Everton, Sheffield United, Sunderland. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, from a Leeds United standpoint, right now we're not interested in anyone. Midfielder was linked midweek and I looked at it and I didn't even do a room mill on it because I thought that's just absolute rubbish. It was later quashed by YP journalist Joe Donoghue. So I'm kind of looking at it right now, and the YEP, to be fair to them, it's kind of good to see actually, because I feel like they've been out the loop for a while now. But any time that feels like there's any rumours coming out, there's a left back linked earlier on, that was quashed. A striker link, that was quashed. Central midfielder links, that was quashed. And it's kind of good to see local journalists actually maybe being slid some of the right information in this winter window. And there's just a calmness. I mentioned on a video I did on my second channel that, you know, owners who are quiet, owners who don't come out and say much are normally good owners, normally, apart from the Glazers who are a little bit of an anomaly there. But the loudest owners are sometimes the worst, which is, you know, which can be attributed to the likes of Radrizzani, Cellino, Stefan Chansiri, amongst many others, Mike Ashley. But listen, Radrizzani did okay for us, didn't he? But you get what I mean. It's more of the vocal nature of some of their outbursts, which are just not productive at all. And, you know, the 49ers are kind of sat there. They seem quite content with the side. We're not linked with anyone. And their confidence really transcends a bit of confidence through me, to be honest. You're not having Daniel Farke coming out and looking like he's got elements of panic. That might change, potentially, if, let's say, Leeds are to lose to Sheffield Wednesday. But I think their ownership right now, where there's discontent between Chansiri and Danny Rawle and the fans, it's, in a sense, I know a lot of you guys will find it funny to watch, but for me it's kind of a little bit like, it brings me back to sadder times at Leeds United with with Ken Bates and, you know, with Cellino. And it does make me think, like, what a sort of good position we're in right now and what an opportunity we have. And I don't really think that this opportunity needs to be grabbed by both hands by literally going and signing everyone in this window. 4 or 5 players I think is nonsensical. It makes no long-term sense for me. And I think it is just panic. And I think a lot of it has been stepped on by other clubs doing stuff. And we did say this at the beginning of the window. This would happen. Other clubs doing business while Leeds so-called stand still. But then you go back to the summer and you look at the squad that we had in the summer as well. It had been picked apart. But then we still had good players in there, still had a good skeleton at Leeds United, even though Archie Gray, Glenn Kamara, Rutter and Somerville had been picked off. We still had a good skeleton of the side. We invested in that, and we're at a point right now where the summer recruitment, in my opinion, has worked fantastically well. To coin a one Leeds phrase, it's worked really well, and right now we're sitting pretty. We're top of the division. We've got some of the most impressive attacking numbers in the division, some of the most impressive defensive numbers in the division. Do you know what I was thinking the other day? I said that I attributed probably 8 or 9 goals to the goalkeeper. 8 or 9 goals this season, okay? I know it sounds ridiculous, but you take that off the 19 goals that we've conceded, and if you had a competent goalkeeper, let's give or take 1 or 2 goals in there, so we'll say 7, right? You give or take maybe just a competent keeper been in there. My goodness, if you had a really good keeper in there, like James Trafford or Cooper, you'd have probably saved 9 goals, for being honest. Some of those chances that we've conceded. But the 7 or 8 in particular, just a fine goalkeeper in there. Leeds would have conceded probably a very similar amount to what Burnley have conceded. Our defence is excellent at this level, building up. On the ball, I think they read the game very well, all of them, especially when Firpo's fit. I think he's developed in that region as well. So the midfield, stacked, absolutely stacked. As I say, those rumours of Leeds going in for a midfield are quashed because, and I wouldn't want that anyway. What's the point? There's no point. It's just throwing mud against the wall and seeing what sticks. And as I've mentioned previously, I think the manager is doing okay. I think he's doing well. Leeds are top of the division. And yeah, it's all good times, and it is funny. Obviously, when you're doing this, the General Football channel, which I do have, subscribe in the link below, everyone, by the way. We're on 2,000 subscribers, which is mental. And I know a lot of it, I'm lucky because a lot of you have gone over there, but I couldn't have imagined that in a week, you know, to have had a video that's hit 22,000 views, you know, over 60,000 views on that channel already. Loads of you guys commenting as well, which is just great to see. So thank you so much for that as well. But you're in the championship sphere and the general sphere, and a lot of it is, you know, even when you look at Millwall, and these are teams that we're not talking about really in competition with Leeds United, but the likes of Millwall, you know, the likes of Hull City, Stoke City, clamouring for players. And I do look at maybe one club that's standing still in the entire division, but it's not standing still in a way of you know, like we have done previously under ownership. And I do think that scarred us a little bit. You know, it's previous ownership and it's Leeds standing still in the January market, but the context is so much different. When have we ever been top at January? When have we ever been top at this period? It's not happened. It's not happened. So I think the level of assurance that I'm feeling right now is very unusual for me as a Leeds fan in terms of the squad and, you know, the fixtures coming up, which I think are winnable for Leeds. Sheffield Wednesday in absolute chaos at the minute, even though they're 10th in the table. I'd definitely urge you lot to read the transcript from their fan forum last night, if you can be bothered. Norwich coming to Ellen Road, maybe with a little bit of a rocket up their arse with a couple of players that are coming in, but Sargent's only just come back. Lewis Dobbin, a little bit untested as well. Jurasek potentially coming in from Slavia Prague. Signings that these teams all need these signings. And Tom Cannon, I know he scored 11 goals in all competitions, and I get that. Would I take him in our front two right now? Bold statement, no. Either of them. I think Peru and Joseph bring something completely different to each other. And I think it's about the manager rotating those two. And I think, you know, he's done that to good effect because we've scored the most goals. We've created the most chances. We're the most dangerous team going forward in the division. We've got players coming back like Ramazani into full swing. Little one for the OGs there. But I'm just calm. I'm really calm with what's going on ahead. I think there's rotation options in every position. And I mean that. I think there's rotation options in every single position for the manager to utilise. And yeah, it's a good position for the club to be in. But yeah, choppy waters it feels for everybody else. Panic and running towards getting transfers in. And we just seem to be, for the first time, cold, calm, calculated. Just chilling out, going for the next fixture. And hopefully we can get into this machine mentality where it's like, you know, you're picking up most points, you know, in a block of 3 games, you're picking up 7 points. If you can do that towards the end of the season, guys, we're 60% of the way through. That's what Farkas said, and he's right. 60% of the way through, scored the most goals, got the best squad, got the lowest amount of players as well, which points to very, very good recruitment. What's to worry about, eh? Catch you tonight, everybody, on Battle Lines. See you in a bit.